How to become a leader who is adored, not feared, and why your 90s boss with a cigar and a yelling habit is completely outdated. Introduction. Groundhog Day in corporate hell familiar. Monday morning. You enter the office and the atmosphere resembles a funeral with a coffee machine. Colleagues are whispering, flinching at every ring. The question hangs in the air. What mood is he in? He is your boss. A person whose presence you feel like a grandmother feels the approach of rain. Now, close your eyes and imagine a different morning. You walk in and you're greeted with jokes, questions about the weekend. Someone shares an idea that excites everyone. The team leader comes up and says, "Hi, how are you? Listen, about yesterday's task, brilliant. Let's build on it." You feel a surge of energy. You want to create? What's the difference? In the first case, the leader is a source of stress. In the second, a source of energy. One manages through adrenaline fear, panic, do or die. The other through dopamine interest, excitement, wow. What if? The goal of this book is to help you become that very dopamine leader. The one after talking to whom you don't want to drink but to move mountains. Diagnosis. Are you a boss or a leader? An honest test. Let's be honest with ourselves. Take this test, answering yes or no. Your team when you appear. 1. Goes silent and pretends to be working hard. 2. Discusses mistakes and failures only after you leave. 3. Offers ideas only when you directly ask. 4. Never argues with you, even if you are clearly wrong. 5. Celebrates successes only if you initiate them. If you answered yes to 3 or more points, congratulations, you're a boss. Your team fears you. They work at a minimum to avoid getting yelled at. Their main goal is to avoid punishment, not to achieve success. And now the second test. You're a leader if 1. People come to you not only with work problems, but also for advice on personal matters because they trust your opinion. 2. Your team comes to you with initiatives on their own and says, "Let's try this." 3. When you get sick, work doesn't stop. People know what to do themselves. 4. You can go on vacation and not get bombarded with messages asking what should we do. 5. Your people leave on time, but if a project is critical, they stay without being reminded because they feel responsible. Did you recognize yourself? Excellent. You are on the right path. If not, it's okay. Everything can be fixed, even if you've been a scarecrow boss for years. The main thing is to want to change. Chapter 1. Why the stick doesn't work. A scientific justification for skeptics, but my grandfather said, if he hits you, it means he loves you. And I turned out fine. A supporter of harsh methods might say, yes, you turned out fine. But the world has changed. Previously, working in a factory required strength and repetition of the same actions. Today, work requires creativity, initiative, and courage. And these things simply switch off in a state of fear. What happens in the brain of a frightened employee? Imagine a caveman. He sees a saber-toothed tiger, that's you, the yelling boss. His brain instantly switches to survival mode, fight, flight, or freeze. Blood rushes to the legs to run and arms to fight. Pupils dilate to see the threat better, but the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for creativity, strategy, and complex decisions, switches off as unnecessary. What kind of innovation is there when you need to save yourself? The conclusion is simple. When you yell at an employee, you literally turn off their mental abilities. They don't hear you. They see a threat and want to escape. And what happens in the brain of a respected and inspired employee? The reward system is activated. Dopamine, the motivation hormone, and oxytocin, the trust hormone, are released. The brain works clearly. The person sees connections, generates ideas. They're not fighting for survival, but striving for success. So who do you want to be? A saber-toothed tiger or a wise mentor who helps get the mammoth? The 7 deadly sins of the scarecrow boss identify your inner monster. Let's face the truth. Almost every one of us has this scarecrow boss inside. It's important to recognize and neutralize it. Sin 1. Anger as the primary management tool. What it looks like. Yelling, slamming doors, humiliating comments in meetings. What kind of incompetence did this? I'd fire you all if I could. Why it's stupid, you think you're showing strength. In reality, you're showing weakness. You can't control your emotions and find arguments. A strong leader is calm, like an ocean liner in a storm. A weak one is like a paper boat in a puddle. Alternative, walk away if you're angry. Breathe. Come back and say, I'm upset about the situation. Let's figure out why it happened and how to fix it. This is 100 times more effective. Send 2, micromanagement or I'm watching you. What it looks like, you stand over their shoulder, ask every hour how's it going, demand reports on every minute spent. You're sure that without your control, everything will fall apart. Why it's stupid, you pay people for their expertise and then don't let them use it. It's like hiring a chef and standing over them telling them how much salt to use. You waste your energy and demotivate the team. Alternative, set clear goals and give freedom in methods. Say, we need to increase conversion by 5% by Friday. What ways do you see? Go ahead, I'm here for support if you need help. Send 3. Taking credit for others' successes and shifting your own failures what it looks like. Project success, I organized everyone. Failure, pet, you didn't cope. Masha let us down, the market crashed. Why it's stupid? The team isn't stupid. Everyone sees everything. You lose the most valuable thing, trust. After a couple of such cases, people will stop giving their best. Why bother? The boss will take the credit anyway. Alternative, the I rule. Success, guys, you're great. This is our shared victory. Failure, I made the wrong decision, it's my responsibility. Let's learn a lesson. Sign 4. The guessing game, opaque decisions, what it looks like. You make important decisions behind closed doors and then hand them down to the team like a commandment from Mount Sinai. No explanations. Why it's stupid? People aren't soldiers. They need to understand why. Without understanding the purpose, work becomes meaningless routine. Ask yourself, does your team know where and why it's going? Or are they just rowing where they're told? Alternative, explain the context. Team, we're changing strategy because competitors launched a new product. We need to respond. Here's how I see our move. Sign 5. Lack of feedback or everything's fine until you're fired what it looks like. You're silent as a fish. An employee doesn't know how they're doing for 6 months, and then one day gets fired based on performance. Why it's stupid? It's simply mean and unprofessional. The person is denied a chance to improve. You're growing neuroses, not a team. Alternative, regular feedback. A 15-minute conversation once a week. What went well? What can be improved? How can I help? Send 6. I'm always right, rejecting others' opinions, what it looks like. You interrupt, don't listen, meet any differing opinion with hostility. Your favorite phrase, I know better. Why it's stupid, you pay for the unique brains of your employees and then ignore them. You're left alone with your not always perfect opinion. Loneliness is the price of arrogance. Alternative, practice brainstorming without criticism. Say, for the next 10 minutes, we're throwing any ideas into the pot, even crazy ones. Criticism is forbidden. You'll be surprised at the gems you find there. Send 7. Indifference to people as individuals, what it looks like. You don't know the names of your employees' children, what their hobbies are. To you, they are human resources, cogs in the system. Why it's stupid? People work with people, not with robots. A simple question, how's your son doing at school? Builds bridges stronger than any bonus. Alternative, take an interest in the team's life. Not like an investigator, but like a friend. Remember birthdays. Ask about hobbies. People will move mountains for someone who sees them as a person. Have you ever noticed how a true leader enters a room? They don't yell, command, or stomp. But everyone feels their presence, not as a threat, but as a source of confidence, inspiration, direction. Everyone straightens up a bit, their gaze becomes clearer, a desire to engage, to speak, to suggest, to feel inspired appears. What is the difference between a boss and a leader? A boss manages through fear, a leader through respect. A boss is a position. A leader is a role that you earn every day. Respect is not the same as fear. Fear is the switching off of the brain. When a person is afraid, they do not think, do not create, do not take risks, do not propose. They live in survival mode. They do the minimum to avoid getting into trouble. They are not engaged, not motivated, not inspired. Respect is the switching on of the brain. When a person respects, they think, create, take risks, propose, feel inspired. They live in development mode. They do the maximum because they want to, not because they have to. They are engaged, motivated, inspired. Example, one manager enters the room and says, "Greater than do it, now," or "You're fired," and you feel fear. Another enters and says, "Greater than hi, how are you? Do you have any ideas on how to do this better?" And you feel inspiration. The difference: one is a boss, the other is a leader. How respect works on the brain, psychologists know. When a person feels respected, their brain switches to opportunity mode. They think, create, take risks, propose, feel inspired. They act not because they have to, but because they want to. When a person feels fear, their brain switches to survival mode. They do not think, do not create, do not take risks, do not propose, do not feel inspired. They simply act to avoid being punished. But they do not do it well, do not do it with soul, do not do it with interest. Simon Sinek wrote, "Greater than people don't work better under fear. They just pretend to work." And that's the truth. Fear is a lie used by the weak to demonstrate strength. Respect is the truth used by the strong to inspire. How to respect, not suppress. Respect is a strength that is inside, that respects, that makes others important. Suppression is a strength that is external, that suppresses, that makes others weaker. How to respect. 1. Listen. A leader who is respected listens, does not interrupt, does not brush off, does not ignore. They listen attentively, with interest, with respect. And people feel that they are heard, that they are valued, that they are respected. 2. Accept. A leader who is respected accepts, does not judge, does not criticize, does not reject. They understand, respect, accept, support. And people feel that they are accepted, that they are needed, that they are important. 3. Trust. A leader who is respected trusts, does not suspect, does not check, does not control. They believe, give a chance, do not require proof, do not require confirmation. And people feel that they are trusted, that they are believed in. 4. Support. A leader who is respected supports, does not reject, does not judge, does not criticize. They help, inspire, believe, hold on, support. And people feel that they are supported, that they are not abandoned, that someone is with them. How to inspire, not intimidate. Inspiration is a strength that is inside, that inspires, that makes others better. Intimidation is a strength that is external, that suppresses, that makes others worse. How to inspire. 1. Lead by example. A leader who is respected does not just talk, but acts. They show how it should be done, how it can be done, how it works, how to grow. And people look at them as an example and feel inspired. 2. Talk about the future. A leader who is respected talks about what tomorrow will be like, what the team will be like, what the project will be like. And people see a goal, see meaning, see inspiration, and follow them. 3. Share success. As a leader who is respected does not boast but shares, does not take but gives, does not show off but inspires. And people feel that they are important, that they are valued, that they are needed. 4. Help others grow. A leader who is respected does not demand but helps, does not forbid but gives a chance, does not suppress but develops. And people grow, become better, become stronger, become leaders. How not to be afraid of being soft. Softness is not weakness, it is strength that inspires, that makes others better. Hardness is not strength, it is fear that suppresses, that makes others worse. Many think that a leader must be hard, must command, must demand, must punish. But this is a mistake. A true leader is soft but strong, inspiring but confident, understanding but decisive. Example, a hard boss says, "Greater than do it or you're fired." A soft leader says, "Greater than let's think about how to do this better. I'm here if you need help." The result: The first, fear. The second, respect. How not to be afraid of being vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength that inspires, that brings others closer, that shows that you are human. Inaccessibility is not strength, it is fear that pushes away, that makes others strangers, that shows that you are not human. Many think that a leader must be inaccessible, must not show emotions, must not admit mistakes, must not ask for help. But this is a mistake. A true leader is vulnerable but strong, humane but decisive, open but confident. Example, an inaccessible boss says, "Greater than I know everything. I do everything myself." A vulnerable leader says, "Greater than I don't know everything. I can make mistakes. But I am here and we are together." The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. How not to be afraid of being misunderstood. Being yourself is not easy, it is not always understood, it is not always accepted. But it is right, it is strength, it is the path to respect, not to fear. Many think that you need to adapt, need to be like everyone else, need to hide, need to pretend. But this is a mistake. A true leader is themselves, does not adapt, does not pretend, does not hide, is not afraid to be themselves. Example, an adapting boss says, "Greater than I am like everyone else. I am like you." A true leader says, "Greater than I am me. I am who I am." The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. How not to be afraid of being alone. Being a leader who is respected, not feared, is not always easy. Not everyone will understand, not everyone will accept, not everyone will appreciate. But it is right, it is the path that leads to respect, not to fear. Many think that you need to be popular, need to be loved, need to be convenient, need to be like everyone else. But this is a mistake. A true leader is not always loved, but always respected, not always understood, but always honest, not always accepted, but always themselves. Example, a popular boss says, "Greater than I will do it as you like." A true leader says, "Greater than I will do it as is right." The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. How not to be afraid of being wrong. Being a leader who is respected, not feared, means admitting mistakes, speaking up, when wrong, learning, growing, not being afraid of being wrong. Many think that a leader cannot make mistakes. A leader is always right. A leader does not doubt. A leader does not admit weakness. But this is a mistake. A true leader makes mistakes, admits them, learns, grows, is not afraid of being wrong. Example, a boss who is never wrong says, "Greater than I am always right. I do not make mistakes." A true leader says, "Greater than I can be wrong. I am learning." The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. How to lead, not push from behind. Leading is a strength that inspires, that shows the way, that gives a chance, that makes others better. Pushing is a strength that suppresses, that frightens, that makes others worse. How to lead. 1. Show the way. A leader who is respected does not just say where to go. They show how to go, how not to get lost, how to overcome, how not to give up. And people go, not because they are pushed, but because they want to. 2. Share knowledge. A leader who is respected does not keep knowledge to themselves, does not hide it, does not conceal it. They share, explain, help, inspire. And people learn, become better, become stronger. 3. Give a chance. A leader who is respected does not demand that everything be perfect right away. They give a chance, time, support, trust. And people grow, become more confident, become leaders. 4. Inspire. A leader who is respected does not just say what needs to be done. They show why it is important, how it changes things, what it gives. And people feel inspired, act with interest, with soul. How not to be afraid of being humane. Humanity is not weakness, it is strength that inspires, that brings others closer, that shows that you are human. Coldness is not strength, it is fear that pushes away, that makes others strangers, that shows that you are not human. Many think that a leader must be cold, must not show emotions, must not sympathize, must not understand. But this is a mistake. A true leader is humane, but strong, understanding, but decisive, warm, but confident. Example, a cold boss says, greater than that's not my problem. A humane leader says, greater than I understand. How can I help you? The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. How not to be afraid of being vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength that inspires, that brings others closer, that shows that you are human. Inaccessibility is not strength, it is fear that pushes away, that makes others strangers, that shows that you are not human. Many think that a leader must be inaccessible, must not show emotions, must not admit mistakes, must not ask for help. But this is a mistake. A true leader is vulnerable but strong, humane but decisive, open but confident. Example, an inaccessible boss says, greater than I know everything. I do everything myself. A vulnerable leader says, greater than I don't know everything. I can make mistakes, but I am here and we are together. The result. The first, fear. The second, respect. Conclusion, you are not a boss. You are a leader. You are not obligated to be someone who is feared. You are not obligated to be tough, cruel, inaccessible, scary. You are a leader. You are an inspirer. You are the one who is respected, not feared. Understand that you are respected when you respect, when you inspire, when you are honest, when you are human, when you are nearby. Be yourself. Be a leader. Be the one who is respected. Subscribe to not miss new videos. Like if you found this useful, write in the comments what kind of leader you want to become. Share if you want to help others. You are not a boss. You are a leader. And you are ready to inspire now. Right now.